Wow. Thank you. If you think that's cheap, it wasn't cheap. I paid those people a lot of money for this cheering, so pay you after the session. Hello, welcome friends. My name is Itai. It's a huge pleasure for me to be here again as part of this incredible event of Ohasu. So many kind, beautiful, loving people coming together. It's a bliss. Today I'd like to discuss the question of mindfulness. And more specifically, I would like to ask questions to do with the relationship between mindfulness and positive psychology, or mindfulness and happiness, and mindfulness and all those beautiful things we discuss as we talk about mental health. Now, quick Google search will show you something that I found to be really, really interesting. Search for mindfulness with stress, mindfulness with anxiety, mindfulness with depression, mindfulness with chronic pain, and you will find dozens of millions, sometimes hundreds of millions of hits. So many results, so much information. And then do the same search, but try to connect mindfulness with gratitude or happiness or hope or resilience or any other of the concepts we discuss here, and you will find very, very different number of hits, significantly fewer results. If I go out there right now into the street, and miraculously I speak Italian and I approach the layperson in the street and I ask them, what are we using mindfulness for? What do you think they'll answer? That's the question I'm asking here today. And I'm fascinated by that question because when I started my work around mindfulness, I was the director of MAP, the Masters in Applied Positive Psychology in UEL, University of London. And a lot of my students, my dissertation students, they would come to me, they'd say, we want to do our dissertation with you, studying mindfulness and positive psychology. I said, why is that the case? Well, obviously mindfulness works with positive psychology hand in hand. And then they'd come to my office and ask, okay, what do you want to study? And they'd say, well, let's study the relationship between mindfulness and stress, or mindfulness and anxiety, or mindfulness and depression, and so on. And that made me think, wait a second, what's happening here? What are we actually linking when we talk about the relationship between mindfulness and positive psychology? And that made me go on a journey in which I've been contemplating how do we present mindfulness and how do we offer the practice of mindfulness. And that journey begins with the understanding of the data. So what is the data telling us when it comes to mindfulness? First, we know that mindfulness decreases mental illness or psychological discomfort. We know that, right? It reduces stress and anxiety, depression, physical pain, anger, addiction, a lot of work with substance abuse. It's beautiful. It does incredible things to lower levels of all of those challenges we experience. Great. What we don't usually focus on and what we don't usually talk about is the fact that there's another side to that coin, because mindfulness, just as much as it's wonderful to decrease those challenges and psychological issues, is also wonderful in increasing mental health. So mindfulness is super helpful to increase our positive emotions. It does wonders for us in the process of finding meaning and purpose. Strengths are also something that is utilized as part of our mindfulness practice. We can find deeper spirituality, all the important self aspects of psychology, self-actualization and self-compassion and self-acceptance are all increasing as we practice mindfulness. We find greater trust towards ourselves, towards others as we practice mindfulness. Our empathy deepens, and my personal favorite, sense of humor. Sense of humor increases. If you're interested, search mindfulness is great for the increase of all of those wonderful components of mental health. But I'm not here to talk to you about what mindfulness is helpful for. Instead, I'm here to ask you, Anyone lost a pen? Instead, I'm here to ask you, what are we using mindfulness for? In other words, we take all this data, and what do we translate it into? So, what programs, what interventions are we creating within Western psychology based on this incredible set of studies? Because I was fascinated by that question. And I need to clarify, every year, hundreds of thousands of people go through the process of experiencing mindfulness through those programs, through those interventions. And we've got a wonderful list of research-based programs that we've created. I created this book, the Handbook of Mindfulness-Based Programs, specifically because I wanted to better understand how do we offer mindfulness to the public, to people who are interested in the experience of mindfulness. And here's what I found. There are many different programs. And I'll just briefly say a few words about the top two, probably heard of, the MBSR, the mindfulness-based stress reduction, right? It's the leading program in the program in the field, started in the 1980s. John Kabat-Zinn, it's an 8-week program, and it's focusing on stress, anxiety, chronic illness, and depression. Second one, most popular, anyone? MBCT, correct. Second most popular, MBCT, mindfulness-based cognitive therapy. Again, 8 weeks. It combines CBT with mindfulness. And that one was designed to prevent, specifically to prevent the relapse of depression. I can continue for a long time, but you will start finding that there's a pattern emerging. Can you see the pattern? Yeah, it's quite obvious, right? We are utilizing mindfulness again and again and again to deal with our psychological distress, psychological challenges, mental illnesses, psychological discomfort, and this is what I think of as one-dimensional mindfulness, focusing on mental illness. In my writing, I refer to it as deficit-focused programs. Those are mindfulness programs that are focusing on what's wrong with us and how can we deal with it, what's broken, what needs healing. I run a lot of mindfulness workshops and retreats, and I go to organizations and companies, and I work with people in different environments. And through the years, I noticed this very interesting pattern. People would come to me and would say, you know, that was very interesting, we learned a lot, it's very meaningful, this practice looks really kind of transformative. But the truth is, they would say, listen carefully, the truth is that I experience so very little stress and anxiety, or I have no depression, I have no chronic pain, so I don't need mindfulness. And the truth is that it took me years to pause and realize, hey, Itai, listen, they're telling you something very, very meaningful in relation to the way we tell the story of mindfulness. They are telling you that they consider mindfulness to be a practice that heals or works with those particular pieces, and that's the intention. That's the purpose. That's why we're practicing mindfulness. Before we continue, I want to pause and say something that's very important to me. I'm a therapist. I have thousands of therapy hours. I use mindfulness in retreats and other contexts, and using mindfulness to heal our pain, work with our traumas, work with our anxieties is wonderful. It's healing, and it's important, and we have to do that. There's a group of people who participated in my breathwork session, a lot of crying going on, a lot of pain released. Mindfulness was part of the process. It's beautiful. It's important. As part of therapy, for example, I invite my clients, as we sit and breathe, and they share a story to do with their trauma, to pause and move inside and feel and work with the pain. So what I discuss here today is not dismissing in any way this aspect of mindfulness. It's a wonderful aspect of mindfulness. All I'm asking is, can we create some kind of a balance? Can we ask the clients to pause and notice, not just when they go through the expression and sharing of a trauma, but also as they share a beautiful moment in their lives, a happy moment, an inspiring moment, a moment that could contain the seed of their purpose in life. We don't do that. We don't teach that. I'm teaching at a university, certifying students to become therapists. Trust me, it's not there. It's not in the curriculum. We don't offer this piece as part of our teaching of how to become a therapist. So my invitation here today is not to dismiss the current usage of mindfulness, but instead, how do we create a balanced approach as we come in touch with mindfulness? Because mental health is neglected when it comes to the intentions of the programs, the language, the structure. It's all about those concepts, the stress and anxiety and depression and so on. And as we all know, mental health is not the lack of mental illness. So even if those programs work and we strip away all experience of stress and anxiety and depression or chronic pain, we're still not inviting people into their fullest capacity, into the experience of living fully. Mental health is so much more to be mentally healthy. We need to find our purpose. We need to experience hope. We need to find our internal eudaimonic happiness. There's a long list of beautiful things we need to incorporate into our lives in order to be mentally healthy. And mindfulness is an incredible practice for all of those. We just don't use it as frequently as I think we should for that purpose. But you know, we can talk about that for a long while. So instead of doing that, what I want to offer you a model, a theoretical model that we've created called the positive mindfulness cycle, and then I want to practice something with you. So the positive mindfulness cycle is saying that we're using PPIs, positive psychology interventions, to create a new intention for mindfulness. Mindfulness has 3 components. The first component of mindfulness is intention. How do we approach that practice? And we're using positive psychology interventions to create a new approach, a new intention for the practice of mindfulness. That's what positive psychology is offering mindfulness. And mindfulness offers positive psychology interventions the gift of savoring. Savoring is beautiful. Savoring is transformative. Savoring is the difference between doing something, ticking the boxes and moving on, and doing something that will miraculously change you. If I do the 3 good things every single day, and all I do is write down a list of 3 good things that happened to me today, dang, 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 back, moving on, nothing will happen. We know that. Nothing will happen. You can't do positive psychology intervention in a box-ticking manner. You need to pause and feel, and every one of the 3 good things you write down, you close your eyes. And you imagine what happened that made you feel this gratitude. And let gratitude wash over you. And then I promise 3 good things will change your life. And that could be applied to any positive psychology intervention. This is not just about 3 good things, it's about anything you do. Be there as you do it, and everything changes. So we show through the positive mindfulness cycle this impact, this transformative impact. Now, again, as I said, instead of talking about it, do you want to practice something together? Yes. So much fun to do and experience instead of just blah, 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 right? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do it in 2 stages. First, I'm going to ask you to turn to your neighbor, and you're going to share something simple, basic, just the best moment of your life. The best thing that ever happened to you, ever. Now, listen, you have 30 seconds to do that. So 30 seconds, 30 seconds your partner. Let's go. switch. Okay, friends. Thank your partner. Maybe you want to offer a hug? Hey, why not? Beautiful. Okay. Now we're going to practice. Sit comfortably. Make sure your back is straight, your chest is open. Let your eyes close. Let your hands rest on your thighs or knees, wherever they're comfortable. We're moving inside. We're moving inside and we're utilizing what we've just shared. This is a super, super brief version of a full-on intervention. So you close your eyes and you move inside. And first, for a few more seconds, I want you to vividly imagine this best moment of your life. Let it live as vividly as you can in your mind for a few seconds. The people, the beauty, the open heart, the gift that was offered as part of that best moment in your life. And you breathe and you notice. And when you have it imprinted in your consciousness, let go of the image, let go of the story, and move inside. And observe, how do you feel as you come in touch with this best moment in your life? How does it make you feel? What happens to you inside? How's your heart doing? Is your heart open? Can you feel the joy? Can you feel this incredible gratitude and fulfillment that is linked with this beautiful moment of yours? And that feeling, let it spread from your heart into your whole body. Let it be embedded into your blood cells. It's part of you. It's waiting for you. Whenever you need a boost of energy, some joy, right there. You close your eyes and it's waiting for you. I invite you to reconnect with your whole body, the chair where you sit, and you can open your eyes. There are many, many beautiful practices out there that bring together mindfulness and positive psychology. Far from being enough, but there are beautiful offerings. My friends, Ryan Nimick, he's doing great work combining mindfulness and strength. My friend Kirsten Neff is doing wonderful work combining mindfulness and self-acceptance. I'd like to share a few things that I'm currently working on. This is a book we've just released with a colleague, Dr. Pninit Russo-Netzer. We've written a workbook to do with mindfulness and meaning, mindfulness and purpose, how we utilize mindfulness to find deeper meaning and how meaning provides an anchor within the moment. I've also created a positive mindfulness program, which is an 8-week program online, and it combines mindfulness with different aspects of positive psychology. It combines mindfulness with self-awareness and positive emotions and self-compassion and autonomy and self-efficacy, and there's a session on meaning and positive relations with others and engagement. So we offer this full spectrum of different aspects of positive psychology, bring them together with mindfulness, and create a whole program. And if you're interested, we've got a lot of studies out there. Just search for Positive Mindfulness Program, and you'll find the program, and you'll find the research that we've created around this kind of work. And so what positive mindfulness, what the relationship between mindfulness and positive psychology is offering us, a couple of quick points that I want you to contemplate, is that it's offering us support without pathologizing, right? There's no pathologizing here. It reduces the stigma, and I work with a lot of people who use mindfulness in the context of something that feels to them as if it has been a stigma, and then what I consider to be really important, empowering instead of labeling. So we're not labeling anyone to do with issues they have. Instead, we offer them the practice of mindfulness to empower them so that they could find more happiness, more hope, more resilience through their practice of mindfulness. Balance is the name of the game. If there's something I found through 25 years of doing this kind of work, is when we go and get lost in one extreme, we're missing a huge piece of an offering. And that's the offering we're currently missing with mindfulness. And I hope that this talk convinced you that it's worthwhile for you to investigate and play with mindfulness in the context of mental health and positive psychology. Thank you, friends.